what's up you guys, this is Rob from Guy Plays, and today on The Snapshot, it's all about scoring some sexy finishers when we take a look at the Sigma and Octantis. Now, currently the Sigma and Octane are only available as the 700-day login reward, so unfortunately while it worries, you will not be able to pick this up any earlier in the market for Platinum. However, do be aware that DE is working on a new track system when it comes to daily logins, and they have stated that this may become available a little bit earlier than 700 days, so just keep an eye out on patch notes and keep on logging in. Now, the Sugatra and Octavia are a slash-based sword and shield, which on the surface totes an unimpressive base damage, especially for a 700-day login reward. However, when the rest of its stats come into play, it can be a very devastating pair. While its status chance sits at a bland 67%, it does tote a 1.08 attack speed, making it currently the fastest of all sword and shield weapons, giving it more chances to apply status. Combine that with the fact that it has the highest current critical chance and critical multiplier in the category, 28% with a 2.2 times multiplier, and its supplementals synergize to make a powerhouse when modded appropriately. Alongside that, the Squidward and Octopus have a very interesting bonus effect, allowing you to throw your shield when mid-air, stunning enemies, knocking them back, and opening them up to melee finishers. The shield itself will travel approximately 25 meters and is not affected by primed reach, but can be used even when wielding a primary or secondary weapon. Also keep in mind that it will always attempt to home in on the nearest enemy in your targeting area, as opposed to the exact enemy you target. And last but not least, while it does not add to the melee combo counter, its damage does seem to be boosted by it. And as for the build, this is really where all of those supplemental stats that I had mentioned earlier come into play. I know, like I said, the base damage is not all of that impressive, but dude, when the synergies happen, the synergies happen. Now, as you guys can probably tell, I'm running one of my favorite setups, which is a hybrid crit slash status build focusing on viral, and the reason that this works is because of the fact that the September and October has a lot of slash in its IPS spread. I believe it's like 62% slash, so you really prioritize that slash a bit more than the rest of the IPS. However, there's still a little bit of IPS there, and alongside the viral works really well with condition overload. Now what I'm going to do is something a little bit unorthodox. I'm actually going to go ahead and, because I saw some people talk crap, so I gotta do this to kind of make a point proven. I'm gonna grab the Akin Brunt real fast, and the reason that I'm grabbing the Akin Brunt is because of the fact that a lot of people were saying, oh, Sigma and Octantis, that's not a good weapon, blah 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 blah, look at these stats. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a lot of people who sit out there in Theorycraft and talk a bunch of smack and really don't know anything because they haven't actually tested anything in game. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you the performance of the Akin Brunt. Now the reason that we're doing the Akin Brunt is mainly because of the fact that after the recent patch, Corrosive is a little bit borked. And I was going to actually show this with the, Silva and Nagus Prime. However, I revisited that video and I was like, alright, oh wait, nothing came to life. I actually revisited that video and I took a look at the numbers there, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is good then. All right, let's have a chat about this. So let me go ahead and simulate this real fast. Now the combo that I'm gonna use is the 2 pause then a bunch more E's, because legitimately if I don't use that one, we literally just flip them all over the place. So as you can see, that's about 33 hits, and that seems to be fairly consistent when it comes to the melee category. We're gonna do it one more time because I didn't do the greatest job there, but I do kind of measure things on hits to kill. Now the reason I'm using this combo is because we don't throw enemies around and we get a bunch of multi-hits really fast, but as you can see here, the number staggers up to 58, and we did let the combo counter kind of die a little bit earlier. So the point that I'm trying to prove here is basically the Akin Brunt and the Sigma, or the Silva and Aegis Prime. I'm really bad at names. They're great weapons, and that was 29. So we got so I'm gonna say it's gonna be about 29 to 30 something. We probably just fucked up earlier with that 55. That was probably just not all that great. Let's wait a couple more seconds to get a good grip on this weapon, so that you can kind of see what's going on. Oh, all right, so it kind of fluctuates from time to time. We got another 53 right there. So we're gonna average this out into like 30s. We're gonna 30 to 40-ish. Now, the reason that I couldn't use the Sylvan Aegis, like I said, was corrosive is borked. But I did look at the previous video that I had posted on it, and it's at about a 33. It's about at a consistent, like, 33-ish, so it's about 35-ish. And I wanted to show you guys exactly how the Sigma and Octantis kind of stacked up. Because a lot of people were trash talking and saying, oh, it's bad, it's bad. I'm like, I don't really think it's bad. I think it's pretty bomb, actually. And the top note that I want to make about this thing is fast as all hell. It's ridiculous. 24, you guys. 20 fucking 4. And I missed a chunk of those. I missed a chunk of that combo too. But 20 fucking 4. Are you kidding me? We're gonna let that die out real quick. This thing. And this is, you know, 150 bombard. It's because its IPS spread is better than what we've already got. 20, okay, 33. 33, y'all saw me miss that one a little bit, but it competes. It competes with the best stuff that is out there, and it can even outplay it. And you have to keep in mind that when we're talking about 33 on, when we're talking about 33 on the, what is it called? 34? When we're talking about 33 on the Silva and Aegis Prime, that thing has a much slower attack speed than this does. This thing is like a 1.6 something with all the mods in. We'll take a look, we'll compare those numbers again real quick, because legitimately, this thing like tears through enemies like nobody's business. And it's faster, and it's got some cool supplementals that go along with it with the finisher effect. Let's go ahead and take a look at that, that shield throw. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the shield throw is a fun thing. It's definitely a fun thing, but because of the fact that unless you're running this with like something that has like bonus finisher damage, you're not going to kill enemies outright with it. It's just not going to be the case. However, it's a fun bonus like mechanic to make you feel a little bit like a badass. And the thing is, you can actually go ahead and swap into, you know, you can swap into your primary, and you can still throw it, and you can still perform that finisher. You know, you can still perform the finishers with it. So it's kind of like one of those cool added bonus things that go along with it. Or, ooh, look at that, sexy. So it's one of those cool bonus things that really make the Sigma and what I don't even know the name. The 700-day reward work. Listen, I am not good with names, and it's about 3 in the morning right now, and I'm just like, I cannot, okay? But as you can see, it's definitely a much more powerful weapon than some people kind of wanted it to be. 31, it's very consistent, and it's mainly because of the fact that its IPS spread is better than some of the other ones out there. Actually, Akenbrunt has a pretty good IPS spread too, but it doesn't have as much status chance as, so what are we looking at? It's 1.68, so that's almost a 1.78. Let's go ahead and toss in a Silva and Aegis Prime. This is a 1.16, so this thing is a chunk faster. Again, I didn't want to show you the Silva and Aegis Prime mainly because of the fact that corrosive is borked right now, and you would really want to use corrosive fire on it rather than viral because it only uses fire. So I'm gonna say right now, the Sigma and Octantis pretty fucking good and a whole lot of fun as well. So all in all, the Stigma and Oculus is pretty fucking badass. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It has a totally different feel than the rest of the sword and shield weapons. Like with the rest of them, you're really like hunkering down, trying to take hits, and then trying to dish that back onto the enemy because their mechanics are all about absorbing that damage and kind of throwing it back out. However, the whatever the fuck this thing's name is, listen, I can't remember. I can barely remember one name at a time. You're asking me to remember 2? That's a stretch. That's a stretch. However, this one, combined with Final Harbinger and its fast attack speed, really just keeps you moving, and the throws that go along with it. Let me talk about that throw real fast too. Like Arcane Contagion and freaking Glaive Prime. Those are the throwing experiences that I have, and they make me die all the time, okay? So I am just fucking glad that this is one of those throwing weapons you can throw at an enemy, it homes in, and you kill them instead of it killing you. That's a feel-good moment rather than a, oh, this is the 4th time I've died in this mission because of the fact that I just can't get my aim right. Yeah, not great. Regardless, that about does it for the facts and figures. In the gameplay, we're going to be chatting a little bit more about what I feel should be the future of melee weapons and how flavor is really tied into that heavily. So if you're into that, go ahead and stick around for the gameplay. Alright, so I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am super feeling this weapon. Number one, I just got to, like, I had bad aim on that, and this thing fucking homed in on that goddamn Grenier, which I fucked up on. But I think the biggest reason why I love this weapon is it really kind of redefines the category for me. It's a lot faster. I know the Akin Brunt was pretty fast too, but this thing really kind of solidifies this as like, oh, let's move, let's throw things, let's go ahead and engage the enemy, instead of kind of hunkering down and just like sitting there and just taking hits. And I think that that's maybe one of the reasons why I like it so much, is because of the fact that flavor-wise, it just feels different, you know what I mean? It just feels like it's something not of the category. It does have its own flavor to it, and I know that there's a lot of feels and flavor talk, and that's kind of like bullshit, but I think that melee weapons have kind of come to the point now where we have some really fucking powerful ones. And really the only thing that we can do is kind of like elaborate and iterate and make fun and different effects on them that really kind of help you, I don't know, give something a little bit different to the category that wasn't there before. Because legitimately, you know, if we just get another fucking single sword that does the exact same goddamn thing as every other single sword out there, it can get a little tiresome and a little bothersome, especially because we have tons and tons of weapons out there on the market that do similar things already. I'm just kind of like, alright, we need something that feels very different. We need something that feels special, something that feels unique. And that's why I kind of do like some of these login reward weapons. While maybe they're not necessarily the greatest or the part of the meta, they are entertaining to use, and they do give a much different feel than some of the others in the category, like the Zenith. I know a lot of people have tried to shit on the Zenith, but I mean, it's a better Brat and Prime. And it's got a cool, like, I see through walls effect. And at some point in the game when you've played, and maybe that's why it's like a 700-day login rewarder, like they kind of keep these out for a little, you know, they keep these a little bit further out, because legitimately you kind of come to appreciate weapons that have different feels to them the longer that you play the game. Personally for me, like, if the Sigma and Octantis didn't feel different from another sword and board, I'll be honest, I saw this shit when this first launched, and I was like, okay, it's our 700, so it's a weird sword and shield thing. Okay, cool, whatever. There was no, I didn't, you know, see any weird throwing effect. You know, when it was first like shown, they didn't like tease any different cool effects or anything with it. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, it's a sword and shield. I was like, oh, another sword and shield, whatever. But the thing is, this thing feels kind of fluid, and because let me tell you, I love the tracer effect on this, because I can only half be paying attention and still be able to get the finishers, and it just feels satisfying to be able to do that. I'm like, oh, just knock this guy in the head with this shield, and now I can go and run up to him and finish him, and I don't have to be really great at aiming. Maybe this is made for like, this weapon is like made for old veterans. That's what it is. It's like, I'm tired. I don't want. I've been playing this game for 700 days. I don't want to have to aim things anymore. Leave me alone, DE. Leave me. I'm an old man. But legitimately, it's these cool effects, kind of like with the Arcane Contagion, the arcane, the saws on the arcanes. Like, those things really change the way that things feel. Give a little bit of a different life and a different spirit to, oh my god. There's someone on the stairs. Like, give a different feel to the weapon itself, and it's gonna be weapons like these that need to happen in the game later on, because legitimately it's only either these gonna have to come up with new weapon categories to keep us interested, kind of like the fans category, you know, that came up. And the rapiers, which still need, you know, a little bit more fleshing out and all of that kind of stuff, but they're gonna need, you know, they're gonna need more. They're gonna need more than what they currently have in order to keep, at least to keep me interested. I don't know if anybody else feels that same way, but it's kind of like having these different effects on weapons and even changing the feeling of the weapon. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, that attack speed, really, when we're talking about like Final Harbinger, like, oh my god, it's so mobile. Like, look at that. Look at how mobile that is. That feels so good. It increase to the attack speed, and the fact that it kind of like follows suit. You know, it's not necessarily a super heavy hitting weapon. Well, it's hard after, you know, it gets going. But you know, it's not this super heavy hitting weapon. It's this kind of like lightweight, low damage, fast fast fire rate weapon, but you know, once you get it going, it starts getting a little crazy, right? And I'm super into that, and I like the fact that I can just throw my shields at enemies and just have them pop, you know? I love that, especially after you get the multiplier on there. Oh, it feels so good. So I don't know, it's just kind of like this overall change to the way that the weapon characteristic is, you know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, when they try to fuck around with like pole arms and stuff like that, they're like, let's make this pole arm really slow, but let's give it an insane range, you know? It's kind of like things like that where it doesn't necessarily need to be a special effect, but they just fuck around with the stats a little bit where you're like, oh, we can do something interesting with that. And that's what I like to see them do, you know, because at some point in time, you know, it just kind of feels like, alright, I've seen this. But at least now it's kind of like, I've seen this, but this is a different flavor of what we've got. So it keeps me a little bit more interested than previous. Do we got anything good? Do we got anything good? Alright, I'll just take that link and sell it. Barrow, we've got some more fodder for you. Yeah, plus the whole art style and the art direction of it, I wasn't necessarily fond of it to begin with. Like, I don't really like the sword so much. But, like, if I'm gonna be frank, I really like the way that the shield folds out, and I like the metallics on the shield as well. It feels really cool. But let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Do you feel like this thing should have been like more like they should have pushed it a little bit more, like maybe they should have given it a little bit more base damage to be like, ooh, it's 700 days. But then again, we're gonna have the new track thing, which basically just dulls down any specialness of any of these prestige weapons anyway. Yeah, let me know how you feel about the art style of the weapon. Do you feel like it performs well for a 700 day? Maybe we don't necessarily need, you know, a super top, like, we don't necessarily need something that is so incredibly top tier, but just performs extremely well. Let me know how you feel about that. Like, maybe side grades to top tier weapons. What do you think? Leave all of that in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. And give me a break for not knowing weapon names, okay? There's a lot of weapons I gotta keep in my brain. It's been 700 days. There's a lot of things for me to, like, rememberize.